Not only car, it's just that we are in a different era of Formula One. Pre 2021, I'd say until 2020, we had an era where the field the field spread was bigger. So in that cases, your bad weekends meant you were maybe a slot behind your teammate or a couple of slots behind your teammate. Now it's basically you're in Q1 and Q3. That's how big the gap is. And again, it's good for us. I think it also does one thing. It is probably a kind of caution that we need to have, because last season it was around a couple of tenths between Oscar and Lando, and Lando swept him throughout the season. And now Oscar has made up that gap, and it's a couple of tenths. It's not huge. It's achievable over a season. And now Oscar has done that, and now he's the favorite. Let's get to the meat and bones of the thing. First of all, the star of the race weekend. Let's talk about Isack Hadjar, because I think a superstar was born this weekend. How good he is compared to the rookies, I'll hold on to that for a moment. But your view on his entire weekend?
I think the qualifying was impressive, but he's been impressive in qualifying generally this year. Also, like I have to say, like the qualifying didn't impress me as much as the race, because that car is very well balanced, very easy to push, which means that like you feel comfortable in it as a driver, so you're going to push it more, right? And that's not to take away from the incredible job Hadjar's done, but I think it's like I always say, it's like expectations versus reality, and the expectation is he's been good in qualifying, so that didn't impress me as much. His racecraft, though, I have to say, like it wasn't like he had, you know, I don't know, Lance Stroll or Hamilton behind him, people who can't race anymore trying to overtake him. He had he had Leclerc, he had Russell, he had like aggressive drivers behind him trying to push him for pretty much the entire race. And what I liked was not only was he able to defend when they kind of tried to go around the outside or up the inside, he also did the thing, or he didn't do the thing that so many rookies fall into. He didn't start defending free air. Like those drivers so often tried to pull out to kind of make him think, oh, they're going to lunge down the inside. And he could easily get caught out, see them in the mirrors, move to try and defend, and then they just sail around. He didn't do that. He was like, nope, you're not close enough. They pull out, and he just didn't move. He just stuck to his guns. And the amount of defending he did was incredible. And the fact, like, for a rookie to get that position and hold it, I know Zandvoort's like hard to overtake, but those drivers know how to overtake, and those drivers are willing to lunge it, as we literally saw from Leclerc and Russell. So, like, the fact that he held those guys off and didn't give them any opportunity, didn't make any mistakes, that's incredibly impressive for a rookie. And I think it shows, like, why he was so annoyed in F2 last year, I think, because he was capable of winning that championship. You know, he just got unlucky, I think. And yeah, just incredible. Unfortunately, this probably means he's going to get demoted to Red Bull Racing next year. We'll see.
You never know. You never know what happens.
But yeah, incredible.
Yeah, I think it's, again, for me, honestly, it just comes down, I'm probably more impressed by the qualifying lap, because he not only out-qualified both Mercedes, both Ferraris, his teammate, the Williams, Carlos Sainz, all of them. And you can say maybe all these cars were probably within a couple of tenths of each other. So the fact that he was the one who maximized the entire thing while others couldn't.
Incredibly impressive.
That's as a rookie. That too as a rookie. And I think we've seen to a certain extent that qualifying is something which is harder to get on top of. So that's where probably a lot of people would have concerns. But he doesn't. He's being nailed on. He doesn't make... Okay, to a certain extent, I liked the way he drove, but I won't go too much out of my way to praise his race day craft, because I don't think overtakes were possible. I just don't think they were possible. The kind of track that it is, right? But even then, his pace was more or less there. He wasn't that much slower than Max Verstappen in a Red Bull, which is funny.
You got to think tire management as well.
Add
like
all
everything.
This up,
you know,
everything was perfect. And you know, the other thing is, you could expect a rookie to make mistakes when it came to the clinch moments, right? the restarts. There were, I think, 3 safety car restarts we had, and he kind of nailed all of them. There wasn't any point where he was being iffy. He wasn't really having those lockups or anything. Smooth, everything online. You didn't see too many team radios where he was panicking. I think these are all elements of a driver who's at the very least solid. At the very least.
Yeah.
To add to this, he has the pace and the application seems to be there. In the first season, okay, just a trick question. For the Faenza squad, in terms of getting a podium, who was the last rookie to ever do this?
Rookie. Ooh. It's not going back to Seb, is it? It's
to a certain extent, yes, because Seb had 3 races with in 2007, 3 or 4 races.
He got a podium in 2007 anyway, or a couple, right?
No, he got 4th in 2007. He did 3 or 4 races. That's it. In 2008, which was essentially his first year.
Yeah, I guess we count that as his rookie season. Rookie though, is it?
Yeah.
Did Max get a podium in 2015? I don't think so, right?
No, Max got 2 P4 finishes, I think, in Australia and in Hungary, if I'm not wrong.
So is it after 2016 or before?
This is the one. It's him and Vettel. That's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay.
That is it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Gasly had a P4 in, I think his best result was a P4 in his rookie season. Albon didn't really have any such result. I think John Eric Verne also had a P4, but none of them had a podium. So it's basically Seb. Then you had, I think Gasly had a couple of podiums later, but no one had anything. Literally no one had anything.
Yeah.
That's what he's achieved. And again, the car is good, but he beat drivers who had faster cars.
Yeah.
If you compile the entire weekend,
I just think everything, I don't want to say the qualifying wasn't impressive. It was. I just mean I've gotten used to him doing well in qualifying. That's why the race for me was just more impressive. The qualifying is crazy this year as well, because like the margins are so fine. Like even I was looking at like a couple of the drivers who everyone's saying is doing poorly at the minute. And when you look at where they are, it's like in most seasons, they wouldn't be that far off their teammate, but because the season's so close, it's like a mountain between the two. Like I think it was like Colapinto, as you know, he got knocked out in Q1 and Gasly went on to Q3. The difference between them in Q1 was 2/10. Like, you know, it's just that like Gasly's in P8, Colapinto's knocked out in P16. There's a 2/10 difference between them. Tsunoda likewise, terrible qualifying. Max in P3, there was 3/10 between
0.15.
At one point there was 1.5.
Yeah, sorry, it was 0.15 for Kimi and George. No, 0.15 was Kimi and George.
But it's insane that like you're talking like P4 or 5 to like P14 or 15 is like 3/10. So you're talking like the finest margin, which you know, it does two things. One, it makes the drivers who are having a hard time look way worse than what they actually were. Because if, for example, if Tsunoda was within 3/10 of Max in 2023, he's finishing second every race. Like, to put that in perspective, right? Like, he literally is finishing second every single race. In 2025, it's getting knocked out in Q1 or Q2. Like, that's what's insane. So it makes drivers like Tsunoda, like Colapinto, like a lot of them, that are having a hard time. They're not doing what they should be doing. I'm not saying they are, but it makes it look way worse than it is. But then on the flip side of that, the guys who are doing good like Hadjar, it's even more impressive because you're talking about the finest margin. And doing that once is impressive, but doing it every fucking weekend, which Hadjar is doing, is crazy impressive. So yes, it's impressive. I just think I've just gotten so used to it that I'm like, the race was more impressive this weekend. But yeah.
True. And you know, just to add on to it before we move on to the other thing, this is precisely why I'm not a huge fan or being too impressed with the Bottas streak of entering Q3 for what I think 100, 200 races, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because look, Mercedes was almost at least a half a second or close to a second faster than the fastest midfield car. So even on his worst day, Bottas was going to be P6. So in that case, you're not really doing a big thing if you're if you're ultimately qualifying in Q3.
Yeah.
And
Like
probably the overtly gassed statistic is this one, consistently
Tsunoda,
reaching Q3.
Tsunoda, like I said, Tsunoda in 2023 in the Red Bull, if he performs as he's performing right now, he's on the podium every weekend, basically.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
That's the problem. Like, is like, I don't know. The car is very, very important. You know.
Yeah. Not only car, it's just that we are in a different era of Formula One. Pre 2021, I'd say until 2020, we had an era where the field spread was bigger. So in that cases, your bad weekends meant you were maybe a slot behind your teammate or a couple of slots behind your teammate. Now it's basically you're in Q1 and Q3. That's how big the gap is. And again, it's good for us. I think it also does one thing. It is probably a kind of caution that we need to have, because last season it was around a couple of tenths between Oscar and Lando, and Lando swept him throughout the season. And now Oscar has made up that gap, and it's a couple of tenths. It's not huge. It's achievable over a season. And now Oscar has done that, and now he's the favorite. And that's what's probably going. I don't entirely know how the 2026 regulations have in terms of field spread. At least for now, that's where we are.
Probably going to be a lot more, let's be honest. But
there are I'm slowly getting more and more excited about the 2026 season. Because a lot of things have been heard, and
I was going to say I am too, just because there's so much to change, and I kind of like chaos. And I also don't know who's going to win at the minute, so that's what's interesting. I'm just kind of, if I'm honest, I don't care if it's. I just kind of hope it's not Mercedes or Red Bull, regardless. You know, like I ideally,
you can be rest assured it's not Red Bull.
Not Red Bull, yeah, but like ideally, like I'll take McLaren being up there for the title fight. Ideally, it's someone new, like if an Aston. Or fucking, I don't know, like if it's an Aston or Williams or Ferrari or someone gets it right and wins, it would just be great. The ideal situation is we have 3 or 4 teams fighting for the title next year. But like if we're going to get a dominant season, which I feel like we are from one team, I just really hope it's not Mercedes or Red Bull, because they've had enough time. Let someone else have a little bit of glory for a while. Like, God damn it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Look, if the Mercedes power unit is good, then it would be foolish to rule out McLaren.
No.
What they've shown
if
this
the Mercedes
season
power unit's good, I would expect McLaren to beat Mercedes at the moment. So we've talked about this.
Even if they don't at the start of the season, you expect them to figure things out and be a bit more well-rounded when it comes to that.
They've got a better aero team. Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of McLaren title fight.
Wait. One question, because I think it's an important one. Isack Hadjar, where do you rank him amongst the rookies? I
think, honestly, like, it's hard not to put him at the top, and not just because of this race, but like in general over the season, he's been the most impressive in terms of most things. The only problem I've had with putting him at the top is, one, I think Bortoletto's done a spectacular job and is somewhere up there as well. And two, I think the problem has been, it's hard to know where he is in comparison to his teammates. You know, that's because his teammate has been like Lawson, who has been off his game quite a bit. But I think that said, like the only thing you can really do is maximize your results, you know, and if your teammate's not performing, can you really keep putting that on him? Not really. And I just think no other rookie has been maximizing results. Obviously, Colapinto has been doing spectacularly every weekend, and he's been sabotaged. But let's put him not on that list, and Doohan's probably not up there as well. Like Bortoletto and Hadjar have been the two best by far, I think. Behrman has been too inconsistent. Antonelli's had a couple of peaks, but again, way too inconsistent. Too many throwaway results. Who else are rookies this year? Am I missing anyone? Is that it?
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Lawson,
Alonso,
you can call
obviously.
him one, yeah.
Alonso, yeah.
Who do you think has the bigger peak?
In terms of like peak performance over the years, or this
Career-wise.
so far? Oh,
Career-wise.
Antonelli, I think. Like, I think Antonelli, just because we've seen some raw talent from him,
Exactly, and I think that's the whole thing. Isack Hadjar, amazing, brilliant job that he's done. I think there are a lot of people that just forget the fact that who is in the other car in each of those cases. Again, Hulkenberg, I rate him highly, but he's in a new team, a new car, and we've seen adaptation takes a lot of time with these cars. So he's having his struggles.
Plus, he's in the twilight of his career as well.
It's
not like he's at
almost
the start,
40, right? That's one. Then you have Behrman. Behrman has been strong, very strong. Similarly, his benchmark is someone who has moved from Renault, new team, new power unit, everything. Hadjar, he first had a couple of races with Yuki, and then he's had a pretty much decent stint with Liam Lawson. Now, Liam Lawson is good. He's not great. George Russell is one of the best drivers in Formula One who doesn't have off weekends. And that's what Kimi Antonelli is being weighed against. In the last couple of races, Kimi Antonelli was less than 2 tenths behind George Russell in the best laps in Q2 or Q3, whichever it was. What is, again, if you have to ask me what is more impressive, is it being a couple of tenths off George Russell or being a couple of tenths faster than Liam Lawson? I might lean more towards being a couple of tenths off George Russell. I think that's the difference.
Look, the thing is as well, we know that Antonelli has like that pure pace of, like, if Antonelli gets the mistakes out of the way and you were talking just like pure qualifying pace, you put him and Hadjar alongside each other, I think Antonelli beats Hadjar, like, on just pure pace. And I think that's because I watched some of his junior career. I've seen like some of the sessions he's done with Mercedes, some of the qualifying pace he had. Like, I know Miami was a once off, but that's a good insight into like what this kid can do if he gets it right.
He did that to George Russell, by the way.
Yeah. That's like, it would be genuinely if Tsunoda was beating Max, you'd think Tsunoda's incredible. If Tsunoda was even as close to Max consistently as Antonelli is to George, it would be really impressive as well, Like, so, I don't know, like, but also we need to keep in mind, Antonelli not only is a rookie, he also is incredibly young and is in a car that we know is difficult to drive, right? I know some fans watching this of Max are like, what are you talking about? The Mercedes is really easy. That's why George is doing well. That car is tricky to drive. If you watch the onboards, you can see like it's the problem is it's so unpredictable that even Mercedes don't understand when it's going to be good. So like Mercedes don't understand the car, right? So if you don't understand the car, it's even harder to train a rookie. And then I think that what they've done basically is, what they've now done essentially is they've told Antonelli, just make all the mistakes you want this year. Like, just drive and make the mistakes. Because Toto said something after the crash. He basically said, this is a learning year. I want him to make all of his mistakes this year so he can learn for next year. And that makes sense now, like, because you don't learn from your successes in Formula One. You learn when you hit the wall and you're like, oh, okay, don't do that again. So yeah. In terms of who's going to have
exactly.
I would assume in terms of who's going to have the better career, it's going to be Antonelli. But I will say Hadjar and Bortoleto could surprise us because they've both been brilliant this year. And Behrman's good too.
100%.
But,
yeah.
I do wonder, sorry to rant on, just one thing.
P6.
Yeah, sorry to rant on, but just I do wonder how much of this is Haas as well, because Haas are historically deeply bad with rookies, so it would not surprise me if part of this is just the way they're handling it.
This is more Ollie. I mean, I've seen his career. This is more Ollie. Ollie makes a lot of mistakes. He should have. Look, it seems he's going to ultimately drive for Ferrari one day. But there are so many. He has that error in him. I mean, he's breathtakingly fast, but he has that error in him, and that continues to be there. But that's an entirely different conversation.